Coach Jim Mora on the program right now, back on the Tuesdays with Mora. How are you, Coach?
I'm good, Rich. How are you?
Carmen was just bouncing off the walls there. I don't know if you were just...
She was hyped up.
She was hyped up about her Cubbies. Do you have a baseball team, Jim, at all?
No, I don't.
Really? Not really?
Someday I'm looking to buy one, but right now I don't have the funds.
Okay. I just didn't know if you rooted for a particular baseball team.
I do. I root for the UCLA Bruins men's baseball team and the UCLA Bruins women's softball team.
By the way, those are two very good teams you just mentioned
really
right there.
Really good teams.
They are.
Really good teams.
I like it. School spirit right there. So
right.
What is a bye week like for a college coach? I'm obviously very familiar what it's like with a pro coach, but you just had one getting ready for Stanford Thursday.
Well, it's really not that much. I mean, you only gain a couple days because we play on Thursday, so it's not a true bye week. We still had a couple days of practice last week and got a chance to go out recruiting, gave our players a couple days off where they could really focus in on getting healthy and some recovery and, zeroing on schoolwork. And then we got back at it on Saturday. So we went Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and tomorrow's like a Friday, and Thursday's like a Saturday, and we tee it up against Stanford. So, and then we have another Thursday game, and then we get kind of another I call it a mini bye, mini bye week after that. So, it's different in college because you can't really give the players time off to go home because they have this thing called school.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
right.
It's different.
Right. Jim Mora joining me here on the program. All right. So I know it's not your house. It's the house across town. I just want to throw it out there and get your thoughts on what happened with Steve Sarkisian, Coach.
Well, first and foremost, my thoughts and prayers are for him and his family. I mean, Steve's a friend of mine, and we lived in the same neighborhood in Seattle, and he was very, very good to me when I was looking to get into college football and opened his doors to me and at the University of Washington. And so I don't think any of us really know exactly what's going on. I think, as a fan base or as people involved in sports, we have a tendency to jump on people when they're down, and then we get them all the way down. We try to build them back and up, and I just hope we can all have some sort of sensitivity to the situation that he's going through, and hope that he gets through it the best way that he can and recovers and finds peace of mind. And he's a good person, and he's going through something that none of us would wish on anybody, and let's just all hope and pray that it all turns out okay for him.
So you met him up in Seattle, essentially, or did you know him before that at all?
I've known Steve for a long time. And then when I was with the Seahawks and he was with the Huskies, we lived in the same neighborhood and became very friendly. And then when I got fired at Seattle, blew out my knee skiing, I spent 6 months over at University of Washington rehabbing. So I'd go to all their meetings and all their practices. And he was very open with me and allowing me into kind of the inner sanctum of Husky football where I'd played, and gave me a lot of great insights into college football and what it was like, and helped me along the way. So, we might be bitter rivals when he was at SC and I was here at UCLA, but at the end of the day, you always want people to be happy and healthy no matter what, and that's what I want for Steve and his family.
And then another coach he says he's resigning, not retiring, and Steve Spurrier. Coach, what was your reaction when you heard that Spurrier in the middle of the season at 2-4 was saying, that's it for me?
Yeah, I wasn't surprised, but, maybe a little bit interested in the timing of it. I've known Coach Spurrier for a long time as well. He coached in the USFL against my dad way back when.
Is that right?
And so, I spent a week in London with him and have played against him a number of times. And, I think... maybe he just needs to recharge a little bit. He's 70 years old. He's been at it a long, long time. This is a very stressful position and a very stressful job. And, I think he's a great guy. He's great for college football. He's great for football. His personality and the things that he says and kind of never taking it too seriously and provides a lot of humor for us. So I hope we haven't seen the last of him, and if we have, I'm sure he'll turn up on a network somewhere and continue to keep it enjoyable for us to watch him.
And Coach, it just is always very difficult when you're talking about kids' commitment, and many people just point to the hypocrisy of the NCAA, that coaches are allowed to just tap out like that, and if a kid decides to do that, he's got to be held back on campus and things of that nature. What about the kids, though? I mean, and again, I know this is not your house, but you are a college coach right in the middle of a season right now. and a commitment to the kids in that regard.
Well, I think that it's certainly a big part of it. You know, one of the primary functions of our job is to provide these young men with an education, and I'm talking about an education in life when it comes to being a football coach, and teach them about commitment and overcoming adversity and a stick-to-itness but I think that at some point in life, you know, you have to make real tough decisions for yourself and for your family. And I think that, you know, with Coach Spurrier, I mean, he's been through enough battles and he understands it. And I don't think anyone begrudges him the fact that he resigned. I mean, there's things at work that, you know, none of us know about. And I think that the way to look at it is do we offer these young men now a chance to transfer without restriction? You know, that's the way you have to look at it, because I don't think you can tell someone they can't resign or they can't be fired, you know, but you have to be willing, I guess, maybe to at least look at the possibility that there has to be some restructuring of the transfer rule. I'm not advocating it. I'm just saying maybe look at it.
Yeah, it was also something that your dad once told me. I probably remember at a combine or something. We're just sitting there at a quiet moment, saying that he knew it was time to stop coaching because the exhilaration of wins was not nearly as a long-lasting emotion as the depression over losses. That lingered longer, and that coaches who have been in it longer no longer can enjoy the wins as long as the depression lasts for losses. I'll never forget your dad told me that.
Well, I think it's true, you know, and I think it's unfortunate. I mean, wins are hard to come by, but it's amazing how quickly you get over them. I mean, it's not, you know, 15 or 20 minutes after a win when you start thinking about the next one. And when you lose, it's really hard to get rid of that taste in your mouth and the pit in your stomach. It's just a highly competitive game, and there's so much focus on it with the public and the media. You know, you feel like you're under scrutiny all the time, and you know, you work so hard to win, and you know, every week we do everything we can to try to get a win, and so does our opponent. And you know, that's why they play the game. Sometimes it's going to work out for you, and sometimes they're going to get you. That's just the nature of life and the nature of sport. But when it becomes such a burden that, you know, that you can't enjoy a win at all and revel in it at all, and every loss hangs for weeks and weeks and you know, seems to drag you down into a depression that you can't escape from, then I think you have to consider your own health and your own well-being, and you have to take care of yourself. And it's just part of this business. You know, many coaches go through some emotional and mental struggles that we never know about because they're good at hiding it. But it's a tough business for tough people. But once again, we all have options. We don't have to do it. You know, we don't have to. We can do something else if we want. So you better love it. And once you stop loving it, then you better think about getting out of it.
Jim Mora,
you have to save yourself.
Sure. Jim Mora, UCLA head coach, joining me here. What'd you think of Tomlin's call at the end of the game last night on Monday Night Football with hardly any time left?
I thought it was awesome, man. I thought it was classic Mike Tomlin. I thought it showed tremendous confidence in his team and his runner and his offensive line, and that's Mike, man. You know, Mike doesn't settle. Mike goes for it. Mike always leans into it, and it didn't surprise me one single bit that he would do that on the road in San Diego. I thought it was cool, man. I dug it, and I'm sure everyone else did too.
How much does it help knowing, though, that his ownership changes coaches once every quarter century because of how much trust they put in there? No, I'm serious, that you're standing on the sideline and you're free to make a decision like that without knowing, while knowing that you're not going to hear about it from people upstairs. Does that really matter, Coach?
I think it does. I don't think that he was thinking about it at the time, but I think it's just built into that culture is you know, a tremendous amount of support that he and the other coaches that have been there always seem to get, and you know, just the amazing understanding that the Rooney family has towards this business. And you know, you can look at some of these old time owners and really respect the way they've handled things. Remember a number of years ago, Tom Coughlin was basically dead and buried, and they gave him an extension. He comes back and he wins the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. You know, and they've hung with him. And the way that the Steelers have hung with their coaches through thick and thin, I think what they recognize is when they have good people that work hard and have great morals and are smart and good at what they do, that they understand in this business there's going to be some ups and downs. It's just so darn competitive that you're very, very seldom going to escape unscathed, and you have to be able to ride the wave if you believe in your people, and they certainly believe in Mike. And so when you feel that as a coach, I think it's a little bit more freeing. Now, you still feel the responsibility, certainly, and you still feel the sting of a loss if it doesn't work out. But just to know that, you're not always pressed up against the ledge, I think is very comforting and very freeing, and allows you to do some things that maybe others wouldn't do because they want to play it safe.
Coach, thanks for the time. Good luck against David Shaw, who is one of the best. So
Yep.
You'll have your hands full Thursday. I'll be watching.
Okay, thanks, Rich. You take care.
You bet. That's Jim Mora.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.